Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 4 of my favorite 30 rock solo albums of all time. It's the countdown we're doing each and every day. Here in November 2023, 30 days in the month, my 30 favorite rock solo albums by prominent members of prominent bands who went off to do some solo records. Maybe a lot of them. Maybe they just did one or two, stayed in the band. Maybe they went off and just did solo stuff forevermore. Whatever it might be, we're not really talking about the solo bands here. This one kind of like floats the line between what is a solo album and a solo band, but I think this is a true solo record because this particular album is the debut solo album from this singer who came from a very prominent band and decided, well, didn't really need the band anymore. I'm going to go do my own thing. It was released February 28th, 1975, recorded at Soundstage Studios in Toronto, Record Plant East in New York City, Electric Lady, and A&R Studios also in New York City, produced by Bob Ezrin for Atlantic Records. We're talking about Welcome to My Nightmare from Alice Cooper. And yes, I call this a true solo record, and granted, Alice kind of going forward, like after this, had a fairly stable band, but when you really look at it, and you look at all the lineups and all these albums, they change fairly drastically from album to album, other than maybe like a member or two or three that stayed fairly constant for a few years. It's like when you look at Alice's solo career post Muscle of Love, which everything before that was the Alice Cooper group, right? The name of the group was never originally meant to be him, but he took on the name and he became Alice Cooper, and then going forward, Alice Cooper was just whatever he was involved in, right? But I definitely see this as a true solo record, and I see a lot of his albums as solo albums because he's the guy in charge. He's got the vocals. He's, either got a hand in writing most of the songs or he brings in outside people, and he brings in musicians from all over the place, right? Like I said, there are musicians that have played with him throughout his career that have been constant for a few albums or a few tours, but for the most part, it's been like a kind of like a who's who from album to album to album. And on this particular one, we've got, obviously, Alice on lead vocals. You got Dick Wagner and Steve Hunter on electric and acoustic guitars. Those two guys would be pretty constant in his band for a couple of years. Prakash John on bass, and Pentti Glan on drums. But we've also got producer himself, Bob Ezrin, playing some synthesizers and other keyboards on here. You got Joseph Chirowski also on keyboards and clavinet and some backing vocals. Tony Levin plays a little bass on here. Johnny Badanjek plays some drums on here. Vincent Price does a little bit of narration, of course. Trish McKinnon does some narration. You got various other people on different backing vocals and things like that. So, we do have a bunch of people who show up on here. To me, this is a true solo album. It starts off, of course, and everything on here is just pretty much close to iconic as you get when it comes to Alice's solo catalog post the Alice Cooper group, right? You got the title track, Welcome to My Nightmare. You got Devil's Food, one of my favorite songs from him in total across all of his albums. The Black Widow, I absolutely think has a spectacular song. Some Folks, Only Women Bleed is the big kind of ballad hit on here. And then over on side 2, you got the anthemic rocker Department of Youth. You got the creepy Cold Ethel, right, but still really good rocker. Years Ago, Steven is so haunting. The Awakening, and of course Escape, right? This is a creepy concept-y album, right? They would revisit the Welcome to My Nightmare thing years and years later once again. How many years ago? Maybe a decade ago. I'm losing track. Fairly recently, right? 10 years ago. I guess that's kind of recent. But and lots of different albums, lots of different styles, lots of different musicians and things. But throughout it all, Alice Cooper has always been the man, right? And this is his first step out on his own with some new people, new record contract, but all him, right? Let's look at charting positions for this one. Australia, number 5. Finland, number 23. The UK, this made it to number 19. And here in the States, US Billboard Top 200 Albums made it to number 5. On the reissue in 2021, this recharted in Hungary at number 33. And certifications, Australia, double platinum, 140,000 units sold. Canada, double platinum, 200,000 units sold. UK, silver, 60,000 units sold. And in the United States, platinum, 1 million copies sold of Welcome to My Nightmare. And as far as singles go, we got Department of Youth, which was released February 1975. Only Women Bleed, March 1975, and then later on in the year they did release Welcome to My Nightmare in October of 1975. I will say out of the three of those songs, probably Welcome to My Nightmare, the title track, is the one that's had the most legs out of all the three singles all these years later. You can still hear Welcome to My Nightmare pretty regularly on classic rock radio, whether it be regular radio or satellite radio. Very popular song too, one of his more kind of gothic hard rock songs, which of course a good chunk of this album is that. There's more the kind of like up-tempo party boogie anthems, the kind of the gothic almost metal type stuff, and then of course you have Only Women Bleed, which is the big ballad hit here. So yeah, Welcome to My Nightmare, pick number 4. My top 30 favorite solo albums of all time. Let us know what you think of Welcome to My Nightmare down in the comments below, as well as your pick for today. Pick number 4. We'll see you tomorrow for pick number 3. We're counting them down. We're almost at number 1. What will number 1 be? You'll have to wait and see. And like I've been mentioning throughout the month, I really thought hard, after about a week or so doing this, I really thought hard about taking out those albums by those artists that really they're more of like a band, like a solo band. So there were some usual suspects, which I immediately thought would be all the way at the top of the list. And I basically took them out because these musicians or vocalists or whatever went and left the other band they were in and formed a new band. And literally the band that was on that first album stayed pretty constant, like for, years, and it became more of a band, like the such and such band, or it may even have had the artist's name there. It was a band, right? Not so much as I'm just going to put out a record, I'm going to bring a lot of my friends in, and we'll do this album, then I'll go back to the band. Or you know what, I'm just going to do solo album after solo album, and on each album I'm going to have different musicians, different writers, whatever, but it's going to be me driving the show, not so much a band thing. So I took a lot of those out. I will do, like I said, I will do a separate show on that probably sometime in the end of the first quarter in 2024. We'll talk about the favorite solo bands, right? Specifically them. So anyway, till then, this is on the web at www.citytranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, and our Cameo page. Thanks in advance for all your support there. We'll see you tomorrow for pick number 3. Till then, I am Pete Pardo. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.